everyone, it's Soldier Girl Kerry from the Stand Up and Stand Out show. As you know, the show first launched in 2016 on the Hope FM radio station, wherein we were broadcasting live to the entire Midlands in the UK. Now, I've taken the show to an independent platform wherein you can be much more interactive with myself and guests on the show. Join me every Thursday as we broadcast live on Zoom, allowing you to interact with us, share your thoughts and ideas and your views on the topics of discussion. We'll be on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And also remember that you can now promote your business through adverts and infomercials on the show every week. Now, simply get in touch with us directly at Stand Up and Stand Out. The email address is standupstandout@yahoo.com or on WhatsApp 07474 136 991. I have an interesting lineup of Black authors, Black entrepreneurs, wellness and fitness coaches, historical facts, cultural issues, and also highlighting other unsung heroes in our society. So join me every Thursday. I look forward to seeing you then. Hi everyone, welcome to the Stand Up and Stand Out show. I'm your host, Soldier Girl Kerry. And today we have a dignitary with us, a very renowned Black woman in the UK who I'll be introducing shortly. But as you know, this month of October is being celebrated as Black History Month in the UK. Today we're honored to have in our presence Beverly Lindsay. She was born in St. Thomas, Jamaica, and came to Birmingham, UK as a teenager to complete her secondary education. She started a career in nursing and midwifery, and then moved on to work as a senior community officer in Handsworth, UK, and also in financial services industry before founding an independent travel agency in 1987. Miss Lindsay became a deputy lieutenant November 2013, and 4 years later, was appointed to the post of Vice Lord Lieutenant in July 2017. Miss Lindsay lives in Birmingham and is a long-standing member of the New Testament Church of God. She became a member of the Rotary Club of Birmingham in 1997, and she was named a Paul Harris Fellow, the highest award by the Rotary Foundation of Rotary International in 2009. She served as its president in 2012 to 2013 and is also a member of the Birmingham Chamber of Commerce. She has a very busy schedule, but I am honored and privileged to have her on the show today. Welcome, Dr. Lindsay.
Good evening, Kerry, and how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you so much
for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. And the thing is, so many of us see you as quite an inspirational Black woman who has excelled in building a legacy that will withstand the test of time. So I'm really happy that you're coming on the show to kind of share your story, but give us an insight as to, you know, how you became this successful person, but also a mentor for many in the community. Considering that October is Black History Month, What does Black History Month mean to you?
First and foremost, I wish there wasn't a Black History Month. I wish we were just part of the general community and we were celebrated every day. But as there is a Black History Month, which was created in the USA, I think in the 1920s, to celebrate the achievements of Africans who have done well and have been trailblazers for their community. And of course, this was adopted in Great Britain some many years later, I think 1987. And it's in the US and Canada, it's celebrated in February, and of course in the UK and Netherlands, Ireland, it's in October. And it's a month where, Black people celebrate, as I said before, their trailblazer, and also in the past and also present achievers.
Most definitely. And I appreciate what you said about, the month being singled out as Black History Month. So many people, including myself, I have an issue with that as well. But in any event, exactly. But in any event, it's an opportunity, I guess, wherein our community can come together and acknowledge, as we do on this show, even unsung heroes, individuals in society who may not be recognized for the good that they're doing. So we try to do that on this show as well. Also, as a prominent woman in the UK, what areas do you think should be improved or can be improved in terms of creating that level playing field in the world of business for the Black community?
That is such a difficult question, because the level playing field, sometimes us as Black people, we don't give ourselves a chance.
Sure.
And, we sometimes are the hindrance in our communities. They said charity begins at home. And most times when a Black person starts a business, they do not get the support of their own people. We have obstacles sometimes obtaining loans and so on to start. But sometimes when we do start, I'm not going to be ungrateful, because if Black people didn't support me, I would not be in business for 33 years. But I know that we could be much more successful, most of us. And people, sometimes we don't realize that the support we give to each other, we in turn support the community, because we are employing Black people, our own people. We are supporting our families. We are allowing the people that are employed to support their families and their families back home. So half the reason why we are not as successful in our business is because we really do not get the support. Every other nation support their own. The Black pound just come in and out of our community. In other communities circulates, several times, dozens of times, the Jew man is the last person, the Black person is the last person any other community will support. But we are too happy to support others. And, they've just started, and I know we've had several campaigns over the years about Black Pound. And this year, again, another initiative was launched by the Birmingham City and some other people to have a Black Pound Day, which is every first Saturday. And I decided to start opening, because we closed on Saturday during COVID at Diamond Travel on the first Saturday. But yes, we have to look into ourselves why we are not successful as business people, because we don't get the support from our own. And sometimes even when you give your own people the opportunity to work in your business, they sometimes let you down on many fronts. And when you employ other people, you get criticized.
Which is a sad situation.
It's a sad situation, but I'm speaking from experience, personal experience.
And that's why we're privileged to have you on the show, because you've been creating such a legacy for many years, especially being such an established entrepreneur, having an independent travel agency. I'm sure that even with having so many hats that you wear and being very active in the community, you have a wealth of experience, and I wish we had like loads of time on this show and your time as well to actually go through each area and pick those nuggets of wisdom that we can actually refer to, because you're very valuable to us. Now,
can I just stress back and address something?
Yes.
Because when you read my, profile just now, it seemed very glossy. And, and I just want people to understand too that all that glitters is not gold, because as you stated, I came here as a teenager and it's like I went into nursing and I went into that. But, as they say, sometimes Jamaican would say your foot got broken, your foot broke somewhere along the line. And earlier, in my late teens, I ended up having 2 children, so I was a teenage single mother, and, I've had other challenges, throughout. And, a few years ago, one of my sons took his life, so it's not all, I don't want people to think that Beverly Lindsay has just, sailed through life. I've had many, many challenges and had to overcome many, many challenges. When I got pregnant in those days, in the 60s, it was something that was frowned upon. So I don't have to go through everything, that's another show. But I don't want people to think I've just arrived.
And I totally appreciate that. We'll definitely be inviting you back on the show to find out or delve a bit deeper into the story behind the woman and the titles that we see today, so that we can understand, your background, but also learn from your experiences. And as I said, garner with nuggets of wisdom from that. So Dr. Lindsay, being such a dedicated and committed dignitary, a mother, as you said, an entrepreneur, a woman of worth in the society, a Black woman, a proud Black woman serving her community, what advice would you give, or what other advice would you give to anyone who probably wishes to serve their community in a similar way?
Carissa, you have to be prepared to give of your time. Sometimes we don't have money, I've not had money over the years because other people seem to take my money. But you have to be willing to give up your time, volunteer. I started in community work. I left nursing to work in community work because I started volunteering, and I saw where there was a need for someone like me to help my community. At that time, they had all this problem with young people, and it was the uprising of the Rastaism and the sus law and all that. So people sometimes think, in order to give, first I think, what am I gonna get out of it? Don't think that. Think, what can you contribute? How can you change someone else's life? And that has been my philosophy, my ethos, always to give. Don't, because, somehow you will receive, all these honors and titles, and, I've had the OD from Jamaica, the OB, all that. I didn't even know about these things before, because in my days when I was working, people like me didn't get honors. But, when you give and give selflessly, somebody's out there watching you. I got, you talk about the lieutenant's role. I didn't know what, I used to see them people and wonder, oh, them people, I didn't know, what are these things, but people that I didn't know, it wasn't something I applied for. People unknown to me, appointed me in those roles. And when the last person, the Lord Lieutenant, appointed me as Vice Lord Lieutenant, being the first female Vice Lord Lieutenant of the West Midlands in 500 years history, and the first Black in the country. And, even when he asked me, I said, why me? You have so many rich, posh white people to choose from. And he said, I choose you. And somebody said to me, he told them, we've been watching Beverly for years. So, you conduct yourself well, behave yourself, try to live upright. You don't have to be a churchgoer, a Christian or anything to be a good person, but somebody is always watching you when you're not looking. So yes, to be successful, you have to have a big heart and give, even sometimes when you don't have. Some of my staff will tell you, Miss Lindsay will give you when she don't have, I've had challenges in my office when I have to pay my staff and not pay myself. Talking to them even today, I said, this time of COVID, I'm trying to feed all of you. I'm the last person to break bread from this business. So give and be kind, and honesty. Honesty is the best policy. Sometimes people don't like you when you're honest. And, you know, I get a lot of that, you know, Beverly, she too, but you must be honest. And in business, you have to be disciplined and know that the money that you collect is not yours. You know, everybody, you know, and I say a little story about discipline and business and money. When I was small, my grandmother was born and saw my grandmother, operating a little grocery shop. And I always remember when we go to visit, you know, we're in Kingston, come up, and if she gives you a sweet, she'd give you the sweet, but she'd take out the money out her little thread bag and put that money in the till. And when she's gonna be cooking, she used to weigh out whether the flour, the rice, or she used to weigh it out, and she'll always put the money in the till. And that's the discipline that I grew up, you know, saw in my early childhood. And maybe that's why I have been able to survive, you know, not as successful at love, but I've survived the 33 years in business because I know that people money does not belong to me. And, you know, this is a revelation in the COVID time now when we have to give back refunds. Because if I didn't operate well, maybe I would have to close my door and hide. But nobody can tell. We have problem getting back refunds from airlines, but people can't say, well, they come to Diamond Travel and we get their money and we don't give it back to them. Some of them cost an impatient, but we are there and we face them. And, you know, yes.
And I've always been, very appreciative as well of your work ethic. I mean, when I met you, I mean, so many things. I never met anyone like you in the UK for a long time. And when I met you, a lot resonated with me. You've mentioned dedication, you've mentioned hard work. And these are things that, these were morals that I was taught by my parents as well. And people found it quite strange in the UK as to why are you like this? You know, you're so different, etc. But it's what makes you a person. So kudos to your parents, your grandmother you've mentioned as well.
And my mother, you know.
Your mother.
She worked on the buses, and when I came to England, she used to do all 3 shifts, you know.
Wow.
Early morning, mid-afternoon, late night, you know, in order to support us. And we saw that. That's why, you know, being unemployed, going on the dole was not, even when I was young and had children, was not an option now.
Not an option. Oh, bless. Thank you so much, Dr. Lindsay. And one last thing before you go. Who or what is your main inspiration? You've mentioned individuals like your grandmother, your mother, who have inspired you and set examples for you. But is there anything else or anyone else that you'd like to single out or make mention of as your inspiration?
You didn't ask what I'm going to do for Black History Month.
Oh, actually, what will you be doing? Tell us some of the activities that you'll be doing through Black History Month.
Well, COVID has really inspired us in some other ways. You know, so out of some negative, you can really find, we have a saying that out of evil cometh good. And a lot of good things has come out, good things have come out of COVID-19. You know, I'm a technophobe, and I've learned to embrace technology. And, you know, we are on the Zoom, and I've done the team, and I've done the this, and I've done the that. And, you know, I chair the Association of Jamaican Nationals. And since lockdown, you know, at first, because when we got locked down in March, we thought it was just going to be a couple of weeks, you know. And then April we saw, and I said, well, let's start having our meetings, and let's start doing things. And we've done a few master classes about how to become magistrates, you know, for our own. The first one I had 84 people, you know, and we did it, and they asked for another one. And I did about, you know, how people nominate people for honors, because, you know, we are very backward and forward in doing, you know, nominating our own people. And the magistrate also, we have more of our people going up in front of magistrates. So we need more people to be into the system. So we've put those on. And, you know, we did the Jamaica Independent Church Service. We did that on YouTube and Zoom, which went down very well. For Black History Month, I'm talking very fast because I don't want to run off with time. Yeah, for Black History Month, you spoke earlier, you mentioned earlier about us awarding our local heroes. And in October of each year, we always host an event called Local Heroes Award, celebrating National Heritage Week and Black History Month, National Heritage in Jamaica, because it's a Jamaican organization. You know, Heroes Day is the first third Monday in October in Jamaica. So we always have our event run about that time at Aston Villa, you know, whole suite of glitter black event. This year is our 30th year. And we thought, gosh, COVID, we were planning a big affair, COVID-19 came. So we did very well with church service. So I've decided and put it to the committee that we'll do an event, and we will be doing an event on October 17th. The local heroes and the Be Inspired, and we'll also be awarding, doing a few posthumous awards for people who, we've lost a few giants in the community during COVID, and we weren't able to say goodbye to them. So we'll be awarding a few of those and some special recognition awards. So that will be on October 17. We hope to have it on YouTube and Zoom. So that's part of what I've also presented an idea to the universities, Aston University, and hopefully these partner with BCU. Those are the two universities who gave me honorary doctorates in 2017. And to have a series, you know, with all what has happened this year with George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter, and of course the Black History Month. And so why not have a series of Black History Month lecture? So we are hoping, so Aston University, I couldn't manage it in the organization along with our events. So Aston University is leading on that. So I've invited the speakers myself. There's a federal judge, a Jamaican federal judge, very high in his field, Judge Norman Hemming. He was our guest speaker last year. He's in Florida. So I'm hoping, you know, he's agreed to be our first speaker on the 8th. I think it might be on team. There's also another professor in Jamaica, Vivian Crawford. You may know Vivian Crawford from UTech. So he's another good friend of mine. I've asked him to be one of the speakers. And Professor Palmer. So Vivian will be on the 29th. Professor Palmer, who, you know, Professor Palmer, who is our honorary president from Scotland. He's been on Sky a lot, on TV a lot over this Black Lives Matter. He'll be another speaker, and I have another friend of mine, Dr. Jenny Douglas, who is a senior lecturer at the Hopeman University. So I have those 4 excellent, high-profile Black speakers will be presenting, and we hope that, you know, it will be out on Eventbrite and everything. Because I did a little talk at Aston University last year for some of the Black students, and every time I talk to young people in a young audience, they say, oh, we haven't got any role models in our community. We haven't got any role models. And, you know, because they're looking in the wrong places. They're looking on the football pitch or on, you know, what do you call them show? Reality TV.
Reality TV, yes.
Yes. You know, so if you're not there, and what I said to them, you know, because when I spoke and there were some other ladies and they were amazed, and I said sometimes, you know, you young people at the bus stop looking at your phone, and there's a Black old person, elderly person beside you, you might just think that person is just a little old lady or a little old man. Maybe if you talk to them, you might even learn something. You might find out they're a professor of something or something. Yeah. So yes, I'm trying to bring that to a wider audience of young people, that they see Black people are great. There are a lot of great Black people in the world. And right here in Birmingham.
Exactly. I totally agree with that, Dr. Lindsay. And it's up to us to educate or help to educate our community, because I've been privileged to have various platforms wherein I'm able to meet some of these renowned individuals, including yourself, distinguished individuals who have made a key contribution to not just our community as Black people, but to the world at large, the country at large. And as I said, that's what this show is all about. If you do have any other programs that you want to highlight as well, We do have a few more minutes where you can do that. Otherwise, I will be taking the details from you and we'll be posting them on our platforms as well to help promote that, because the young people they're asking me, they're saying, well, who do you see that we could actually look up to? And as you rightly said, they're looking at footballers, they're looking at these reality TV shows, and that's not necessarily where you'll find, especially our individuals who are working hard behind the scenes to actually make something of themselves and be positive role models for our people.
They're in the churches, they're on the front line.
Exactly.
They're everywhere. You know, they're sitting beside you in church, but because you're just, you know, I mean, some people just see me as Beverly Lindsay from Diamond Travel. You know, I had a life before Diamond Travel and I have a life outside of Diamond Travel. Exactly. You know, but sometimes they can't even see past that. You know, and just like other colleagues, you know, there are scientists in the church, there are doctors in the churches, there are lawyers in the churches, you know, or in the nightclub. But, you know, they just see them, and unless you're, you know, you're a peer on TV, you're not a role model. You know, I grew up in a world in my early days before TV, we had TVs. So we got to appreciate our role models long before TV. I mean, knew who they were. You know, we look up to our mistress and our headmaster and the pastor and the black bank manager. And in our country, we have black prime ministers and black, everybody black. So we knew that black people could be somebody. And I'm glad that I had my formative years in Jamaica, that I knew that you don't have to be another color to be a somebody.
Amen to that. And on a last note, Dr. Lindsay, what words of encouragement would you leave us with? Because we mentioned about who your main inspiration is, which was my final question, but also what words of encouragement would you leave us with?
I say, one of the things I've always said, you know, you have to be ambitious in life. Sometimes in order to succeed, you have to be even tunnel vision, because you know, if I'd followed people, I would not be doing this interview today. They tell you can't be this and you can't be that and you can't be that. And especially me that got pregnant young, when I bring down disgrace by the family and I was all, you know. And if you listen to all the negative around you, you'll never get anywhere in life. And one of my mottos is to, you know, you must aim high, work hard. You can be anything you want to be. I went to a prep school in Kingston. You know, it was called Peter King Prep down Brentford Road in Kingston. And, you know, I remember the headmistress, you know, who owned this little school. It was a little school, a very mixed school. There were only 5 of us that were dark skinned. There were Syrians and Chinese, a lot of in the school. And every morning, you know, and I, you know, on reflection, I said, on reflection now I'm an adult, I said, I wonder if this woman drunk. I should come in the school every morning, you know, very, very, and she'd have her cane to whip. And every morning, you know, we had to stand up straight, like at attention, and we had to recite, right? 2 recitations, we call them days, our memory gem. Heights by great men reached and kept, was not attained by sudden flight, but they who while their companions slept were toiling upward through the night. And you know, and that's what I have to do. I have to toil every night. I'm working, you know, if you see what time of night, I send out email and in the mornings. And another one that we had to say every morning, don't lean on others, stand on a footing of yours. Be independent and cultivate a sound backbone. And you had to stand up straight and not slouch and do that. So those are the things that has kept me. So, you know, don't, you know, sometimes you don't achieve anything by lying down in bed and want to class. Sometimes I hear people say, I'm just I get out of bed and want to talk a daytime. Better stand them and, you know, while your companions slept, you could be up there doing something, you know, productive, right? And I said, don't lean on others. So I have a philosophy in life. I don't beg, steal, nor borrow. So don't stand on a footing of yours. Be independent and cultivate a sound backbone. Aim high, work hard, and you can be anything. Look at me. You know, a little dry food picnic, I always say, from Stokes or St. Thomas, you know, and you end up in a Handsworth with 2 picnic, young, no father, nobody. And, you know, I've become representing Her Majesty the Queen and all this kind of thing. Come on, you can be anything you want to be. You know, some people might say, I'm not a royalist, and so, you know, but it's not about being a royalist, or it's about the doors that it can open, not just for you, but for others, because I've been able to do so many things during that role, you know, to get young people engaged. You know, I've engaged with the militaries, the uniform services. I've put on Service Awareness Day for them, you know, because of my relationship with the university. I've put on mental health conference, you know, partner with the university. You know, I'm doing this Black History Month, you know, to get, you know, wide audience. You know, if I didn't have that role and other things, I've got people in other positions, you know, young people to sign up to the you know, Navy and, you know, and so on, because, you know, they get to understand that it's not about just when you join those forces, uniformed forces, it's not about just fighting war. It's about a career pathway. They could go in there and have a career without, and have degrees without student loan and get paid. So it's only 30%, I think, of the people that join up the army and so on go into combat. You know, the rest is a career, an engineer, a medic, a nurse, a doctor, whatever. You know, so I've been able to open doors. You know, people don't understand, and you know, and there are a lot of things that you don't want to say publicly, but people don't understand the influence that, you know, I have been able to have being, you know, given the opportunity and the honor of holding those offices, because you can open doors for your people, and that's what I do.
You heard it here first on the Stand Up and Stand Out show. Our very special guest today, or dignitary of the week, Dr. Beverly Lindsay, OBEODVLL. And
yes,
she is a very...
It's now DL, because I done my 3-year tenure as Vice Lord Lieutenant was up at the end of August. So I'm back to being a Deputy Lieutenant now. But the role as Vice Lord Lieutenant, as I said, it has been a life-enhancing experience.
I can imagine. I appreciate your humility as well, Miss Lindsay. I mean, you have done so much in the community, and as you said, you may not speak about everything that you do, but we appreciate you, and this is what the show is about as well. We try not to wait until individuals have passed to mention what they have done. We want to recognize you and acknowledge you while you're alive and while you're doing what you're doing, to say thank you so much for being a positive contributor, a mentor for many, but also a positive role model for our community and for others as well. Thank you so much for being on the show with us today, and we wish you all the best in your endeavors as well, and we will be supporting you and the community and the organizations you represent for the Black History Month and the programs and activities that you'll be putting on as well.
Thank you, Kerry, and I'll email you information about that. When is your program here?
It's Thursdays at 8 p.m. We'll send you the link as well.
Okay. All the best and good luck, and God bless.
Thank you. God bless you as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Bye-bye.